The universe of Kingdom Hearts is as sprawling and well-envisioned as any of the landscape of video games. Featuring a broad range of cultures unique to each world, the KH series boasts a wide variety of music, animals, and even food. Of course, Kingdom Hearts also owns a rich sporting history. Many a timeless athletic endeavor has been showcased in these games, ranging from the brutality of struggle, to the high-speed action of rumble racing, to the flashy style of skateboarding. With so many varied recreations available, there really is something for every sports fan. I mean, even Fruitball has its ardent supporters, and Fruitball's whack. I have such disdain for this berry-busting minigame, in fact, that I refuse to let it be the sole representative of a ball game in the KH universe. I mean, technically Grandstander is a ball game, but it's one person doing one action, so I'm not really going to count it as a good option. No, we need a sport that combines the series' values of teamwork, camaraderie, and overcoming adversity with a game that utilizes athleticism, strategy, and, obviously, a ball. It's for that reason that I've taken it upon myself to draft, develop, and bring into being the first ever Kingdom Hearts baseball team. I mean one that's not just in Game Boy format, like an actual team with players and a manager and all the trimmings. Even though the sport of baseball hasn't been played in these titles, I still believe that there are some legitimate prospects within the KH canon. Many hours of research went into the formation of this club, for some reason, and I'm honored to have been selected by a group of my peers as the person to introduce the squad to you all today. So without further ado, let's begin. Grab some Cracker Jack, put on the perennially underrated Bernie Mac classic Mr. 3000, and let's talk about what work went into
2-2 pitch to Posey is a curveball hit deep into left field. Back goes Ethier. It's a grand slam home run.
The catcher is perhaps the single most important role on a baseball team. As the field general, so to speak, they're responsible for adjusting defensive positioning and guiding their pitchers with their game-calling abilities, helping to decide what pitch to throw to the opposing batter. It's like a quarterback in football, but with even more influence. Knowing the critical function that this position holds on our team, who amongst our many options would be best suited for it? With so much at stake, who will step up to act as the de facto leader of our defense and the trusted companion to our pitching staff, while also contributing to our offense? Who could handle such pressure and not crack? Who will be our catcher? Okay, hear me out. If we're looking for a combination of sturdiness, knowledge, adaptability, and grit, there's only one dog-man thing that fits the mold, and that's the leader of the Goof Troop himself. As the captain of the Royal Knights, Goofy is no stranger to the duties that come with leading a highly coordinated team of elite athletes into battle. At least, I think he is. We've never actually seen the other Royal Knights, but I imagine they're up to the rigorous standards of aptitude that their captain has set. You know, maybe the Bruins are the Royal Knights. They seem to be able to handle themselves pretty well. Goofy's already got the signature catcher squat down, although he could probably benefit from adapting a more orthodox stance. This looks like it'll kill your back over time. And he's often been considered one of the more level-headed members of the KH cast. His durability in the face of potentially career-ending physical punishment means he'll show no signs of flinching when opposing base runners come running at him at full speed. And his situational analyzation expertise will help him coordinate our defensive efforts. The Goofster is also the most dependable party member in terms of offensive utility, which will help stabilize our lineup as well. He's shown an incredible knack for being able to handle the volatile emotional states of his allies, a quality that's highly sought in the majors. I could go on, but suffice to say, he's perfect. All of these reasons solidify him as a no-brainer to join our squad as our everyday backstop. I'm going to give each of our players a real-life MLB comparison as well, just for funsies and maybe to give some extra context into what I'm looking for out of each role, so Goofy will start us off in that regard. His MLB counterpart is Pudge Rodriguez, one of the absolute greatest catchers of all time. Considered a terrifying hitter at the plate and a defensive savant behind it, the 14-time All-Star and 13-time Gold Glove winner exemplified the tough but calculating nature that teams want out of their backstops. If Goofy can live up to Rodriguez's example, our catcher position will be one of our team's strongest points.
Rivera charging, the off-balance throw and a hot Loney with a great scoop, and they get Segura out.
Filling the first of our corner infield positions is an interesting query. First basemen are commonly tall and capable of changing levels rapidly to handle errant throws and get to the bag. While considered one of the easier positions on the diamond, first base still demands a sharp response time and the ability to read the flight path of a baseball coming your way. Ideally, they'd be one of your big boppers on offense too, usually in the form of long doubles or home runs. But for this exercise, our lineup will actually end up being pretty deep, so I'll be focusing more on the player's defensive promise here. I tried to shy away from drafting Disney characters in favor of KH originals, for no other reason other than my personal preference for all these goofy goobers, but I'd be foolish not to snag the Pumpkin King as my cornerman here. Despite his lanky frame, Jack's shown to be surprisingly agile. His ridiculous wingspan should allow him to corral any balls that seem to be going out of play, and his long legs will propel him to first base faster than any base runner. It's kind of like having a giant, spider at first base, almost like a Kumanga for you Godzilla fans out there. That's pretty tight, if you're cool with spiders. Jack's also known to be a schemer, so expect to see a few hidden ball tricks throughout his tenure on our club. His propensity for magic attacks could prove useful on both sides of the action. Maybe a shot of Icy Terror freezes a base runner in place for an easy out, or a line drive imbued with Blazing Fury gets the ball over the wall for a homer. I'm not expecting a large offensive contribution out of a character with literally no muscle mass, but I'll take whatever I can get. So, in essence, I basically have a skeleton with the traits of Victor Wembanyama parked over at first base. Yeah, that'll play. An MLB comp for Jack might be JT Snow, former first baseman of the San Francisco Giants. Snow had a little thump in his bat, but his best work came with his glove on as he won 6 consecutive Gold Glove awards for his defensive excellence. Snow was as reliable as anyone, diligently assisting his fellow infielders with any low balls or high throws.
Thank goodness that JT Snow was aware and got Darren Baker out of the way.
He'd be the model mentor for the Skelly Man, especially considering Jack's known love of snow. You know, from the Christmas place. You know, the snow thing. Yeah. Jack won't be an integral part of our lineup's run-scoring ability, but his solid handling of the first base position and do-what-you-can offense will fit in nicely with our team's overall makeup. He's no star, but he'll contribute and earn his spot on the roster. No bones about it. Is that whack? Is that too corny? Is that too kish? We'll leave it and we'll see what happens.
And that one is looped right at LeMahieu. Can they double him up? Yes, they do! That's the ball game!
There's literally no way I could have constructed a Kingdom Hearts baseball team and not included the main man. Sora's mastery of the Keyblade, yeah, I don't care what you say, Yen Sid, makes him an adaptable and battle-hardened veteran. Surely that'll translate to the field, right? Well, maybe not battle-hardened, but he's definitely seen some stuff. You know what I mean? He's got some edge on him now. Or I guess if the KH4 trailer is to be believed, less edge than ever. Look how smooth he looks. I put Sora at second base because of the position's need of quick reflexes, mobility, and teamwork with their shortstop. That latter point in particular will become very clear in a bit. Sora's got all of those qualities in spades. He can fly, or glide, to his left or right to rein in any ground balls, and he can leap into the air to snag a line drive. As a jack of all trades, and I guess master of none, seriously, Yen said, throw my guy a bone. Sora's going to be a tough at-bat as well, as his talent in both physical combat and magic will make opposing pitchers unsure of his approach when he's on offense. Man, that was like how many P's can you fit into one sentence? Maybe Sora can emulate the style of Joe Morgan, who many believe to be the greatest Keystone Man to ever play the game. Morgan's exhilarating mix of powerful hitting and acrobatic defense makes him one of the most well-rounded players in the history of baseball, and Sora's high potential could land him in a similar spot once our fictional season reaches its conclusion. He's not without his faults, though. We know Sora can be a bit airheaded at times, and prone to emotional outbursts or tantrums. He'll likely make some poor decisions at the plate and will be prone to the occasional error in the field, but the hope is that he'll be able to overcome these lapses and lock in to assist the team when they need it most. After all, we know that Sora always shows up in the big moments. That's his X factor, a clutch gene that can't be taught. Sora's the last guy the opponents would want to see grabbing a bat in the ninth inning. If anyone can come through with a tide-turning hit, it's this heartful half-pint. Maybe being a part of this team and overcoming the epic highs and lows of KH baseball will bestow him with the emotional maturity necessary to take that leap into Keyblade masterdom. Or maybe not. Either way, Sora's my second baseman.
Breaking ball, bounce towards third. What a play by Lindor! The throw home is in time! An absolutely fabulous play by Francisco Lindor to save a run and keep this at a tie game.
And there's really only one double play partner that we could choose to help him. Is this obvious? Yeah, maybe. But hey, the relationship between a second baseman and shortstop is absolutely critical. They need to be on the same page in order to turn double plays effectively and cover the bag on steal attempts. When it comes to positional synergy, there's no more dire need for alignment than these two right here. That's why Riku is our guy. It's also because he's fucking cool. In many ways, Riku is an evolved form of Sora. Cool, calm, collected, and polished in his usage of both magic and the Keyblade. Shortstop is kind of like that too, in the sense that the shortstop position is an even more demanding form of second base, as they are expected to cover more ground and have a stronger arm. Riku, therefore, is the ideal pick to take on the added responsibilities of this role and keep Sora in line in his. He's going to be relied upon heavily in our defensive structure, often relaying the catcher's instructions to the other fielders and taking point on in-between plays between the infielders. He'll also be in the heart of our batting order, expected to drive in runs and bridge the gap from the upper half of the lineup to the lower. I won't lie, Riku's going to have a ton of expectations placed on him on this team, but that's nothing new for him. Of course, one of the questions surrounding Riku will be whether or not he can handle that high level of demand. He's seemingly become adept in his control of darkness, but a whole team counting on you to perform day in and day out would stress anyone out. As a Keyblade Master, he's equipped to handle the toughest Heartless and Nightmares around, but baseball is an entirely new venture for him. That's where Sora comes in. Hopefully, he'll keep his bestie grounded and in a positive mental place. After all, these two are the most decorated tag team in the KH universe. They're like the Rockers, basically. Riku is Michaels. Riku's credentials and numerous proficiencies make his player comp clear. Derek Jeter. The captain may be a safe choice, but it's hard to argue for anyone else when, like Riku, Jeter had the weight of the world to carry in his post as captain of the New York Yankees, and rose to the occasion innumerable times. Considered overrated by some, including me kinda lol, Jeter's lasting legacy as an icon of both the Yankees organization and Major League Baseball as a whole is among the sport's most storied, and I surmise Riku is up to the task of holding a similar office on our squad. If Riku can keep his competitive edge without tapping too hard into his darkness, he'll be a linchpin of our club's overall success. He and Sora should complement each other both in the field and in the lineup, and that 1-2 punch will be one of the most exciting parts of this team.
May be playable. A lot of times it'll come back and oh my goodness, did he catch that?
He caught that.
You got to be kidding me to get the they almost got a double play. What an unbelievable catch, and Arenado's okay.
You know what? And he's even getting some standing ovations from the Giants fans.
Most of our infield is now set, but we're still missing a third baseman. Third is a tough position to draft. Customarily, it's a position that demands a strong will and a powerful arm, but also lightning-quick reflexes and situational awareness. Think of it as a marriage of strength and precision, more so than maybe any other spot on the field. It's called the hot corner for a reason. As the fielder positioned closest to the batter, other than the catcher, don't be smart Alec, the third baseman needs to have a top-tier reaction time. In that case, who better to hold that spot down than someone who literally knows the future? Gullah. Gullah's not the strongest foreteller, because that'd be my boy Osed, Bear Gang, but his pragmatic temperament makes him a strong complement to the many over-the-top personalities that our team consists of. He's got his foibles too, but he should be able to act as a voice of reason on the field of play. Gullah's another Keyblade Master and, as a foreteller, arguably the most accomplished of all of our players. His combat style revolves around speed, which will likely translate to his plate approach as he'll look to get on base and generate offense with steals. Think of a slap hitter that will look to stretch singles to doubles and keep the opposing team on their heels. Because of his somewhat limited showing of actual work in the series, I'm not sure how consistently he'll be able to get hits, so he'll bat towards the bottom of our lineup. But if he can connect to the top of our order efficiently, it should generate runs in a big way. I mean, we've seen that Gullah can hold his own in combat, so maybe there's some untapped pop in there that we can unlock during the season. Again though, for Gullah, it's not about the bat, it's about the glove. Gullah is akin to Brooks Robinson, maybe the finest third base defender to ever touch a baseball field. Robinson came up with some crucial knocks when he needed to, but his most known attribute was his absolute wizardry at the hot corner. He had what seemed like a preordained understanding of the ball's path and otherworldly reflexes to get there and make the play. He also has an A+ baseball name. Brooks Robinson? That sounds like the greatest pirate that's ever lived. Good for him. While by no means a liability at the plate, Robinson's fielding prowess is literally second to none, and his apparent future sight is a skill that our prophetic leopard should be able to match. Does the Book of Prophecy say anything about what the opposing pitcher is about to throw? Maybe it gives insight about whether or not a bunt attempt is coming. If so, we'll have a leg up on everybody else in the field, and can be considered one of the most interesting X factors on our club. But it's still Bear Gang for life.
And that's sliced to left field, and it's another chance for Mitchell, and he makes a barehanded catch!
In my entire life, I've never seen that happen.
We move now to our outfield, starting with the left field position. This is typically considered the easiest of the three outfield spots, but I'd still like to have someone here that I know will be able to handle their own and track down any fly balls hit their way. Plus, we need a spark plug on our team. Many franchises have featured a controversial star with a boisterous personality, someone that provides a bit of an edge. For our crew, no one fits that bill better than the bane of my Castle Oblivion experience, Larxene. The most openly antagonistic member of our squad, Larxene's been known to possess an abrasive personality that doesn't exactly endear her to her peers.
I lost to a bunch of losers like you.
Rude. Still, her talent is undeniable, and she's got a chance to be part of a winning team if she can put her ego aside. Her lightning abilities lend themselves well to baseball. Her mix of speed and erratic behavior will make her a terror in the batter's box. Larxene's going to be expected to drive the ball and disrupt defenses with her speed. An electrically charged line drive wouldn't be the worst thing either. With that said, she'll probably be most effective on the base paths, with her, spirited personality disrupting pitchers and causing defenses to make mistakes that will benefit our team. She'll be a lot, but she's a maverick, and that's what I like about her. When considering Larxene's skill set, Shane Victorino comes to mind. His high-intensity playstyle was a pivotal aspect of various MLB teams, most famously the Boston Red Sox. The Flying Hawaiian acted as an energizer bunny for his team, coming up with clutch hits while also playing excellent defense. Like Larxene, Victorino had an easily recognizable personality that was beloved by fans, but could get under the skin of opponents, though I don't think Victorino is quite as maniacal. Is Larxene a latent bomb that could disrupt our clubhouse culture? Oh, for sure, absolutely. But she may also be a catalyst for some high-velocity ball that could be very fun to watch. I don't need her to be besties with everyone. I just need her to direct her chaotic, vexatious personality towards opposing teams. If that's something she can commit to, she'd be one of the more fascinating members of our squad. If she can't play nice with others, well, I guess we'll see if El Reno's available.
Fly ball into right center field. Here's Barnes coming for it. Barnes laying out for it. Brandon Barnes with a tremendous catch.
Brandon Barnes can flat play some D in center field.
Center field is the hardest of the outfield positions to play, so we'll need someone that's able to make quick reads and can react swiftly to whatever fly ball or line drives come their way. Center field also has the most ground to cover on plays, so we need to think of a player that's light on their feet. Better wake up and get to work, Ventus, because you're my pick for the job, for a variety of reasons. For one, Ventus's affinity for wind and air will allow him to get a better read than most outfielders. He may not have the top speed of Larxene, but Ventus won't need it if he can get to the ball's landing spot before it becomes an issue. His weakness will be his lack of power at the plate and in the field, so he likely won't be gunning anyone down on plays at home, but I still like the glove enough to keep him out there. Offensively, Ventus will be similar to Jack, in that he won't be someone that we rely on to drive in runs. He doesn't possess home run potential like others in the batting order, so instead, he'll bat near the end and try to connect the bottom of our lineup to the top. Yeah, we've heard that before. Walks or soft singles will work just fine for us, as Ven getting on base will just put more pressure on pitchers when our heavy hitters come to bat. Hey, now that I think about it, would Ventus hold his bat in a reverse grip? I don't know how practical that is, but it'd be a pretty cool sight to see him step into the plate with the most wacky batting stance in baseball's long history. Like, you obviously can't generate a ton of power, but maybe it'd make it easier to drop a bunt down. I don't know, I'm kind of talking myself into it. Plus, he could always use his wind abilities to lift the ball into the air. For an MLB comp, we look to the mountains. Brenton Doyle has more pop than Ventus, but the idea is still the same. He flies like the breeze through the spacious outfield of Coors Field and makes plays that seem impossible. The Gold Glover Doyle is also a big bat for the Colorado Rockies, but he would likely hit lower in most other lineups, so Ventus can look to him for inspiration on clutch, connecting the order hitting, and compare notes on gliding and diving in the field. Doyle does hold his bat normally, though, so unfortunately Ventus will need to figure out his personal plate approach on his own.
Okay.
Ventus is the prototypical glove-first outfielder, but that's not a problem when many other members of our team are so powerful. Not every single hitter can be expected to send it over the wall. Instead, Ven will focus on taking professional ABs that set the table for his teammates, while holding down a tough position in center field. Consistent D and decent offense should certainly be achievable for the wayward wind himself.
That's into right field. That's a can of corn. Bo Jackson is there. As here's a throw, Gallego tagging it, Bo gets it! What a throw by Bo Jackson!
Tara, our right fielder, is basically the complete opposite of his outfield partners. And I don't just mean that in like their personality. Slow moving and powerful, Tara will act as the archetypal slugging right fielder that's such a staple of the game. There's virtually no one that can match his raw strength, meaning he'll act as our primary outfield cannon. If a runner tries to score on his watch, expect a throw from right that's coming in with the force of a comet. Or an earthquake. Whichever is stronger. Tara is also going to be a force at the plate, and one of the fiercest members of our lineup. Batting out of the 2 spot, he'll be the most strapping hitter in the batting order, and will force pitching staffs to be incredibly cautious in their approach. Any pitch he connects with will be sent a mile away, though it's fair to assume that Tara will be more strikeout prone than most other hitters in our lineup. He's never been one for attention to detail, and that'll reflect in his plate discipline. We're gonna see some Ks here. In return, we'll get a hitter that's as impactful as any in the imaginary league. Because of Tara's complete and utter lack of speed, no disrespect, he'll be a non-factor on the base paths, and actually may be a liability in some situations. He's the best example of a 3 true outcomes player. Tara's either going to launch out of the park, draw a walk, or strike out flailing Earthshaker like an oar. Nelson Cruz is our comp for Earth guy here. A slugger that hit over 40 homers in 4 different seasons, and over 30 in 8, Cruz was a dominant force that put the fear of God in every pitcher that stood 60 feet 6 inches away. Nicknamed Boomstick, sick. He didn't have a ton of defensive utility, but that didn't matter when he could change the game with one swing of his thunderous bat. Hopefully Tara can apply his earth-shaking strength in a similar manner. Tara is one of our most one-dimensional players, but he happens to be an expert in that dimension. He's been saying that he wants to set this right, which many have interpreted as a declaration of his intent to fix the mistakes of his past, but I've actually done the research and can confidently say that that quote is simply Tara voicing his opinion on what position to play on our baseball team. Look it up. Nomura tweeted about it or something, I promise. Tara's going to hit near the top of our order, as many sluggers do, so that we can give him as many opportunities to do damage as possible. He may not come through every time, but when he does, he's going to leave a serious mark. No figure in our batting order will be as imposing as Tara. Or almost none.
There's a shot, right center field, and Ohtani lights the fire. A leadoff home run. Dodgers 1, Mets nothing in Game 4.
The last spot in our lineup goes to our designated hitter Lexius. As the DH, Lexius won't need to play the field at all, which makes sense as his mobility is virtually non-existent. There is that one time he flew at us like a gigantic world-ending fireball, but I don't think that's going to be considered a legal play. The slow speed issue is true of Tara too, but we know that Tara can get moving if absolutely necessary. Lexi, meanwhile, is more or less a sitting duck. As such, he'll live exclusively in the batter's box and anchor our offense. Kind of ironic that a nobody will serve as the heart of our order, but that's what makes this so fun. Lexius will also be a more consistent threat than Tara, as he's an even-keeled and stoic individual. He approaches situations with a cold, detached demeanor, and that should translate exquisitely to a game as measured as baseball. As our 3-hitter, no player will holster more responsibility and offensive effectiveness than Lexius. It's a lot to put on one person, but there's no one better equipped to handle that pressure than this broad-shouldered mountain of a man. He's been through worse anyway. It's true that he'll be of negligible importance as a base runner, but you don't gotta run fast if you're trotting around the bases. We could reasonably switch him and Tara around in our lineup however we want, but I find Lexius to be a bit more clutch, and he could actually surpass Tara a bit in terms of raw strength. If Tara strikes out with a runner or 2 on base, I'm confident Lexius will be able to come through with a big hit more often than not. Is that a hot take, to think that Lexius has more raw strength than Tara? Do I have any kind of data or analytical information to back that up? Not really, but I'm more of a vibes guy. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Let's spark a little debate here today. So yeah, in my eyes, Lexius is the staple of our offense, our scariest hitter, and our most imposing figure in the batter's box. Who in Major League Baseball can compare to Lexius? Why, none other than the man that many consider to be the most monstrous home run hitter ever, Albert Pujols. In his legendary 20-year career, he launched over 700 home runs, becoming just the 4th player in history to hit that milestone. While he didn't leg out a ton of doubles or triples, especially during the latter portion of his MLB tenure, Pujols was at once one of the most beloved and feared hitters in the game, and acts as a perfect benchmark for what our DH can strive to achieve. Lexius boasts strength that not even Albert Pujols could dream of. He'll be the engine of our lineup, silently swinging his axe sword of heft and splitting the sky every time he connects. If there's any one bat to be afraid of in our lineup, it's that of the taciturn stalwart Lexius himself. And that is our batting order solidified. I think it's a solid mix of great defense, some pop at the top, and an inconsistent but functional bottom of the order. Not a bad crew if I do say so myself. You can't have a full team without pitchers though, so we still have a couple more spots to fill up.
Ground ball to shortstop. Kim will go to first. The San Diego Padres get their first no-hitter in the history of the franchise. And it belongs to San Diego's own Joe Musgrove, sending the Friar faithful into a frenzy.
Aqua is the first selection of our pitching staff. She won't pack the heat that some of our other hurlers will, but that won't prove an issue at all. Instead, the magically inclined master will utilize her wide array of elemental spells and commands to give her a competitive edge on the mound, just as she's done in the Kingdom Hearts games themselves. A curveball that drops with intense gravity, a slider that cuts away like prism rain, and a fastball that teleports right to the plate are some of the tricks of the trade that our ace pitcher will employ. Her vast arsenal of magical pitches will be near impossible to get beat on, and her ability to seamlessly switch between them will keep hitters completely baffled. I mean, imagine you're settling into the box, shuffling into your batting stance, and then look up to see the pitcher spell-weaving a magical volley straight into Goofy's mitt for a strike. How are you supposed to deal with that? Aqua is going to be an extremely frustrating and demoralizing pitcher to face in the batter's box, and that's why I'm naming her as our team's ace. Her unconventional approach to pitching and the wide variety of options at her disposal makes Aqua feel not entirely dissimilar from Yu Darvish. Darvish, known for utilizing as many as 10 different pitches during games, is a soft-spoken but respected MLB veteran. The 5-time All-Star can face the same batter 3 or 4 times in the same game and still never show them his full repertoire. Like Aqua, Darvish is a master of his craft, and a very tricky opponent to decipher. The two of them should find collaboration very easy, and doing so would provide Aqua with a magically enhanced game plan for her pitching. That's about as scary a proposition for all rival clubs to deal with as I can think of. Other than Aqua is the most seasoned of any member of our team. Her analytical, well-planned approach to the sport will make her one of the most formidable arms in all of our make-believe league. She'll also help keep the rest of our motley crew in check, if, needs be, while also bringing everyone together in pursuit of their common goal. Much like she does in the main series, she'll be the mature, pragmatic stalwart that stands at the head of our pitching staff.
Alexei! Yes! 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 History!
Okay, so I'm going to level with you here. I wanted a left-handed pitcher, and I wasn't sure who that would be. Off the top of my head, I couldn't think of any characters in the Kingdom Hearts series that are certified southpaws. I had to turn to the internet for assistance in this endeavor, and after a quick Google search, I was provided with 2 candidates. Sephiroth is a strong selection, but I've already got one murderous psychopath on my team, so I've already filled my quota for that department. As such, I'll take the other option, who immediately becomes our most mysterious member, Yozora. He's a tough talent to assess. Yozora's only been around for a cup of coffee, but he's certainly made an impact in that short amount of time. Not since the early days of the Lingering Will has a secret boss humbled us so immensely, and it's that same sense of helplessness and dread that I'm hoping he can instill in any teams he matches up against. It's hard to quantify exactly what Yozora brings to the table. His abilities are varied, ranging from laser light shows to physical attacks with a sword and a crossbow, and even summoning Gigas to do battle on his behalf. His powers go beyond those of almost any other character in the franchise so far, but how do those skills translate to our national pastime? I choose to believe the answer to that is very well. See, even though Yozora hasn't been seen playing ball, there's a good chance that he's aware of the game. Okay, walk with me here. Thus far, Yozora's been relegated to rolling around Quadratum, which we know is based on Shibuya, a ward in Tokyo. As it so happens, Shibuya is a hop, skip, and a jump away from Shinjuku, home of the Tokyo Yakult Swallows of Nippon Professional Baseball, Japan's equivalent of MLB. Did Yozora have his suspiciously Luxord-sounding driver drop him off at Meiji Jingu Stadium to watch his hometown Swallows in action? I mean, we can't definitively say no. It's not impossible that Yozora, through years of watching legends such as Munetaka Murakami and Masaichi Kaneda, developed a deep understanding of and appreciation for the sport of baseball. And if so, well, batters beware. Because of the limited film available for this prospect, it's hard to pick an MLB comp. If I had to consider a ceiling for Yozi, does that nickname work? I'm workshopping it. To aspire to, it'd be Randy Johnson. Johnson was the picture of dominance for over 20 seasons, overpowering hitters with his fastball and leaving them looking silly when they flail against his slider, splitter, or changeup. Plus, he's left-handed. That's mostly the main comparison. Some will call it ridiculous to say that Yozora could reach the big units level when I have no idea what the extent of his abilities are, but I'm nothing if not quirky. Based on what we've seen, the sky is the limit for our second starter, and I'm of the opinion that he'll be as miserable to face on the mound as he is on that fucking rooftop.
Two-third, backhanded by the shortstop. Blum got a hurry, got him! Yes! 479! Trevor Hoffman has become the all-time saves leader in Major League Baseball history.
And now, at last, we find our final roster spot. While our two starting pitchers will be relied upon to handle business for the majority of our games, they may need some assistance towards the end of the contest. As such, we'll need to recruit a relief pitcher to slam the door on opposing lineups in the late innings. Who better for such an assignment than the fan-favorite fireballer, Lee? Like many closers, Lee possesses what is likely to be the single fastest pitch on our staff, a blazing fastball that should reach the triple digits. Lee's long arms and tall stature will allow the former nobody to create extra torque in his delivery, and, depending on his style, could make his pitching motion extremely difficult to figure out. His game plan will likely be similar to his fighting technique, a flashy display of overwhelming tenacity, with his spirited personality transferring into each of his pitches. In fact, Lee will almost certainly employ only one pitch. A single fastball will be the only thing he needs to overcome his opponents. He's a passionate guy, but also charmingly simple, and he's going to model his game plan the same way. Does that make it easier for other teams to come up with alternative measures to respond? Probably, but if his fastball is as potent as I think it'll be, then it won't matter. Simplicity isn't inherently a bad thing. I mean, throwing one sole pitch didn't seem to be a hindrance for Mariano Rivera, the greatest closing pitcher in the sport's history. While the Sandman technically utilized other pitches in his repertoire, it was his signature cutter that sent hitters packing and sawed off more wood than a steel MS-881R Magnum. I had to look up chainsaw brands for that joke. Rivera's cutter was so dynamic that even if batters knew it was coming, they were utterly powerless in their attempts to create solid contact. All relief pitches look to Mo as the standard bearer for the position, and Lee is no exception. Hopefully, the flurry of dancing flames will establish himself as the team's wipeout closing pitcher. He's already proven that he has an excellent synergy with the rest of the team, so being entrusted to get the final outs in the game's most pivotal moments should be no problem for our guy. Lee would fill the last roster spot, but there's still one last name we need to call.
And Joe is gesturing that ball was on the ground.
There always seems to be fun when Laz Diaz is involved.
You know what, Michael? That pitch was a ball, definitely, as we saw the replay. And Joe Girardi knows his team has not been hitting with runners in scoring position, so he wants every edge he can get for his team when they're hitting. He wants the count to be 2-0 instead of 1-1.
When to switch out pitchers, how to attack each batter, how to align the defense. These things and more are all determined by a baseball team's manager, the skipper standing at the top of the dugout that, ultimately, is in charge of a club's on-field operations. In our case, we need to find someone that's both knowledgeable of the strategies and schemes of baseball, while also having the interpersonal skills to manage all of these wacky and volatile characters together. I know I kind of came for him earlier, but I don't think there's anybody more qualified for the job than Yen Sid. Since the very beginning of the Dark Seeker saga, Old Graybeard has spent his time coordinating the efforts of our heroes to combat the forces of darkness. Plus, he's already adept at scouting out opponents, something that will prove handy in pre-game preparations. With that kind of background, holding a position of leadership for a baseball team should be light work. While typically a reserved, resigned chairman, because he's in a chair so much, you see, Yen Sid's also proven himself willing to enter the fray himself when dire situations arise, standing up for his crew in a big way and putting himself in harm's way to better serve his comrades. Some of the greatest managers in MLB have exhibited similar character attributes, including Bruce Bochy, Buck Showalter, and Dusty Baker. All of these recognizable skippers led their teams to championship success and are exceptional templates for Yen Sid to aim for. As the most veteran scholar of the main KH cast, well, now he is at least. Sorry, too soon? Yen Sid's going to be our best option to take the helm and lead this ragtag bunch to postseason success. Who better to plan out the intricate details of our team's playstyle than a literal sage? You can't spell wizard without the dub. So that's our full team. 13 people, obviously, right? Assembled to take the world of baseball by storm. Only one simple question remains. What will this collective of charismatic characters be called? Well, I'm happy to present the first ever Kingdom Hearts baseball team. The Traverse Town Travelers. As modeled here by Sora, Aqua, and Lexius, we've got our gear, colored in a similar font and style to the Traverse Town logo itself. This is the uniform that we will wear for our season. Hailing from the coziest venue in sports, this crack squad of heroes, villains, and a skeleton has been brought together to win the inaugural World Series Championship. That's worlds with an S, like how there's multiple worlds, you feel me? Will they be able to set aside their differences and reign supreme over the rest of the league? Well, considering they're the only team, yeah, I'd say they got a pretty good chance. Hopefully you've enjoyed me going into way too much detail on how I build a KH baseball team. I want to shout out my art friends, first of which Mika from Kingdom Arts, who drew this little chibi version of me with the health bar you've seen throughout the video, and then also Archer, who did the actual artwork of the Traverstown Travelers themselves. Both of their socials can be found in the description of this video. I'll also post them on screen right here. Give them both a follow and have them create some spectacular art for you guys. If for some reason you're looking to hear more of my voice, I've got plenty of other videos for you to check out here, ranging from things like more Kingdom Hearts stuff, sports stuff, and other stuff. A lot of stuff, mostly. It's kind of my thing is stuff. Anyway, as usual, I have no idea how to end these videos, so thank you, bye!